question. Have you ever cross-dressed before? Does anyone else... I just spit, sorry. Does anyone else, like, throw back Mentos? Or are you, like, insane and just eat one and you're like, that's it. That's all I need for the day. This whole thing could like a Pez dispenser right down my throat. Have you ever cross-dressed? It's topical. Why am I chewing these? It's topical because today we're talking about Tiffany's prom date, which if you have no fucking clue what Tiffany's prom date is, I wrote a Sapphic teen movie in 1 week. And now obviously I'm editing it. I didn't just say, okay, that's it, it's done. It's She's the Man meets Perks of Being a Wallflower. And there's cross-dressing, obviously. Why wouldn't there be? Tiffany Summers, high school darling, leadership student, is dating Josh Connors. Josh breaks up with her. How dare he? So to prevent a family calamity, she forces his younger sister to go in disguise as him till graduation. Cross-dressing. My first ever time cross-dressing, high school. I played Rosalind in As You Like It for a couple scenes. And whenever I got to be Ganymede, which is her male fake identity that she changes into the woods, I had this euphoria. And it wasn't like I was convincingly a guy either. I need to make that very clear. I was in no way fooling anyone, but that wasn't the point. The point is I was playing a female character who was in disguise as a male character, and that changed the physicality of the scene. That changed how I moved my body, how I talked, versus when I was Rosalind, as Rosalind. And I just remember having this, I'm gonna be for real with you, this riz whenever I was dressed as Ganymede. And I don't know if anyone else felt it, but I was the rizziest rizzler there was to riz. And that was the first time that I ever experienced that kind of euphoria. And now knowing that I'm gender fluid makes complete sense. So when I tasked myself over the holidays to write a Sapphic teen movie, oh, of course I found my way back to Ganymede. Who wouldn't? So if you haven't had the pleasure of cross-dressing, and it sounds like something that might be fun to you, I don't know, give it a shot in a safe opportunity, a safe place, you know what I mean? And for me, that was high school theater, which about tracks. So I'm currently editing Tiffany's prom date, and you can hear me reading the first 30 pages of the current draft in a previous video, which is, to be honest, my best video yet. You know, as I'm editing it, I'm like, I need a deck for this bitch. I need a deck because on the chance that, let's say, Daddy Warbucks came and knocked on my door and said, "Little Miss England, I'm gonna make your gay dreams come true. I need a deck." So I created this deck for you guys. And now what you need to understand about pitch decks is that they are tailored towards the audience you are pitching to. The synopsis on this is quite long. It's the longest I've ever let on a deck, and the character descriptions are a bit lengthy. Once you see this, because I'm actually gonna insert a link for you to peruse this on your own time, but I'm gonna also give you the like Reader's Digest version of this. Once you click that link to look at it, it may look a little different for you because I am gonna change the layout because I just had earlier today this great conversation with a film producer on TikTok by the name of Cass. She's awesome. I'm gonna put their TikTok handle thingy here. Anyways, we're mutuals, and I sent it to her, and she gave me some wicked cool notes, and so I'm gonna apply some of those. If you see a typo, don't worry about it. Keep that to yourself. Keep that to yourself. Friendly reminder: I am dyslexic, so it's surprising that I got this far with it. Anyways, now another disclaimer, because if Gen Z's good for anything, it's our disclaimers, because we fucking put so many disclaimers on things. I do talk about dark themes in this deck and in this story. So I talk about suicide. If that's not something that you're in a place to hear anyone talk about, it's not graphic by any means, but one of the comps for this movie is Perks of Being a Wallflower, which if you're familiar with that, it does deal with suicide. So, I talk about that. You've been warned. You can exit out right now. I don't talk about suicide in the first 30 pages video. So, if you would prefer just to exit out and watch that, go for it. I just want you to know, okay? Because this, when I first started out writing Tiffany's Prom Date, it was a funny, goofy, ha ha ha. Can I do this in 1 week? It's based off of a really silly skit. But like all scripts that I, create, I do apply a smidgen of critical thinking skills to it. And this seemed like a great part of the story to tell. I need you to understand it is a comedy, but with a lot of great comedies, there's a darkness to it, and that's unfortunately the relatable part. That's life. Anyways, Tiffany's Prom Date. Here's the first page. Wicked cool, right? Look at this sticker idea. It's a bit bright, I know. I don't know. Deal with it if you have blue eyes. Then we go on to logline. Logline will change, but just for now, this is what it is. I'm going to bring your attention to the little globs in the back. I have this kind of lava lamp effect going on with it. Lava lamp meets composition book, scrapbook thing. That's the deck. I have this transition page, which I love this page. I have several like it. Christ, they're barking so much. I put stills from comps behind the big lettering. And so if you know what movies I'm talking about, you'll probably recognize this. But I think this is a great way to transition from all of the copy-heavy slides. Then we go into the story, which is the longest fucking synopsis I've ever put on a deck, but this is for you guys. This is for you to read and for you to ascertain more about the project. If you were someone else, this would look different. Another transition page. Gotta love them. Now, this is something new, a component I've added to my decks, which is actually saying the character type next to the character name. Cass liked this, so I got the seal of approval in that regard. It's Tiffany Summers, protagonist. Kate Connors, love interest. Toadstool, antagonist. Josh Connors, supporting. I don't list all the characters here because that would take a month and a day. I actually really enjoy this because then it takes the stress of me trying to explain to you that this person's an antagonist right out. Because there it is, right there. Now I can go to the character description. You already know he's the antagonist. I don't need to tell you in the character description. Just fuck around and find out. I fucking love this. Fucking tone. Cry me a river. Am I pitching this well enough for you? This is just me showing it to you. I'm not pitching it to you. But if it happens to feel like I'm selling you on this concept and you have $1 million, well, now we go into the tone, which is arguably the best part of a deck, to be honest. Yes, tell me how you imagine this world. That's crazy. I love it when I learn about how someone's picturing something. So I talk about the comps. And I touch on it here, suicide. And then I have these like 3 buzzwords. I don't fucking know. If this was on Netflix, this is the 3 adjectives they would use to describe it. Nostalgic, bubbly, and sharp. Tiffany's Prom Date right there. If you said those 3 words to me, immediately what would conjure in my mind is this Sapphic, she's the man retelling, okay? It's not a retelling. I should say that for legal purposes. This is far from a retelling, okay? I'm using Shakespearean tropes. This is now my writer commentary, Dear Diary. Here's what inspired this, where I talk about the thing I talked about with you at the very beginning of this video, which is Rosalind, Ganymede, cross-dressing. Now, something I did discuss with Cass is how gender comes up in this script. And I think this is a concept that modern audiences are ready and willing to discuss. It's in the B plot, but it's definitely something that as I make these edits, I want to write more about is gender norms, gender in general, which is another reason why I feel like this is a more modern take on this Shakespeare trope of cross-dressing. And the issue in this movie is not that like Tiffany's falling in love with a woman. That's not the issue. Tiffany has no issues with being queer. The struggle is more of realizing what love should feel like. You know, this acceptance, this unconditionalness, this camaraderie. And that rocks Tiff's world. Wouldn't it all? And newsflash, Josh wasn't really like that. And so she's realizing that the grass is actually greener sometimes. And you gotta and that's a scary thing also, to be loved. Anyways, here's the ending page. I actually have a production company. Wild, right? I paid a couple years ago for a really cool logo branding design for it, and this is the main logo, and I eat this shit up whenever I put this on a deck or anything. I'm like, oh, I feel so professional. I'm very chill about where this project's heading. Okay, it doesn't it. I'm not. This is not all consuming for me. In the past, I've definitely had projects where I put a lot of energy into, and every day was like, how can I move this closer? This is my baby and whatnot. And I've learned from that I can't live like that. And I have to have a life outside of Tiffany's prom date. But this has been a magical experience, and gosh, wouldn't it be nuts if it gets made? Like, wouldn't that be crazy? So I'm just very open-minded to what will happen next. And so these next few steps that I'm doing to see where this will go is obviously polishing a full draft. Polishing a full draft that I then will send off to get some eyes on. And if you've added yourself to the I have a Google form, or if you want to be a part of this in any sort of way, you can just submit your contact information. Um, at some point I'll reach for all of you who have put your name on that roster to give me some feedback and to get some eyes on this. And then after that, or during honestly, I'm looking to see if I can find a queer director who would be interested in this project, because I don't want to direct it. I've directed in the past, I'll direct in the future, but I don't want to direct this. It's just an undertaking that I don't want to have. As the creator of the project, I feel like I want to delegate this role to someone else. And I really would love it if they were queer. If this is a queer director, I think that would just make sense for the storytelling. If you know someone, or if you are that someone, please contact me. And if you use the form to contact me and you don't like direct email me for that, please put somewhere in there that you are a queer director, and here's like where I can see your previous work and whatnot. Yeah, I would love to see this made. And in my wildest, absolutely wildest dreams as an actor, I would. This is like a confessional. Why do I feel like I'm confessing to a priest right now? As if this is a crime. I would love to play Kate. I would love to play Kate. But let's say on the chance that, Daddy Warbucks does want to pick this up, and they have named talent that they want for Kate that fits the bill. I am in no way going to let my acting ego get in the way of the project being made properly, like in a good way, not getting absolutely shat on. But wouldn't it be nuts if this gets made and I get to play Kate, and maybe this would be like my first like major credit on my resume acting wise, and that would just be so fun. Let's sit here and just think about that. I'm sure you're wondering why I won this award. It's because I was the best little rat that one could be. I've been obviously in the fucking trenches, but that's okay. If you want to view the deck for Tiffany's prom date, the link is in the description. You can peruse it, send it to your fun people, see who else would like to be a part of this project. I don't know. If you wanted to see how this all started from the conception, on my TikTok, I do a scene that then inspires this script, and so you can watch all those little videos, and you can even watch a YouTube video of me reading the first 30 pages of the current draft, which I discussed earlier, but that's linked somewhere too. Until next time.